Speaking from a county where our voice is seldom heard above our own little den, SCAG gives us a voice. We are a very poor county, we're a very isolated county, and yet when we come to SCAG, we feel like we are just every bit as important, and our concerns are of concern to the region as a whole. SCAG is like having that big brother there to make sure that your issues are heard and that you do have a voice.
California is a complex place, but it's also a very inclusive place. California gives voice to business, to government, to education, to the labor community, to the environmental community. If you don't have an opportunity for those communities to communicate and collaborate, not much gets solved in California. And SCAG is creating that environment, that opportunity to communicate and collaborate towards consensus-oriented solutions.
I would say SCAG, above all, stands out as an agency that try to tackle the challenges and try to make sure that the future is brighter. If you were to ask me, the best thing we could do is ensure that the quality of life for our children and grandchildren is as good, if not better, than today. We evolve from being a single issue agency to an agency that facilitates the discussion for important issues that link to transportation.
We've had very robust, dynamic debate as to what SCAG's core mission is.
I've watched it evolve, and it certainly evolved a great deal under Hassan's leadership. Transportation planning doesn't happen in a silo. Too much goes on. But I think the fact that we have broadened all the other aspects, we're now engaging in discussions like water. Water will drive a lot of what we do, and economic development. We've recognized that poverty is here, and we need to have economic strength to get people out of poverty, to help, and then how do we connect people who are lower on the economic ladder to jobs where their housing is. So these things are all interconnected, and I think it's a very, very important part. It's quite a growth spurt for SCAG.
I don't really think of us as a government agency. I think of us as an agency that collaborate with partners and stakeholders to move the region forward.
With SCAG being one of the largest MPOs in the country, their involvement is key, working with all of the member agencies to advance regional decision making. They are the forum as to how the region works together.
We've had some great dialogue with members of Congress, both here with a congressional hearing on rail and freight and how that's going to impact our region and bringing money in, but also back in Washington. Several trips with members of our staff and members of the Regional Council going out there and just continuing to talk about the need to bring money back into Southern California and the problems that we've had.
SCAG's got a tough job because there's 6 counties. They're big. It's half the population of the state of California. We work together well. We don't always agree on everything, but we've got to work together, and we are, and SCAG facilitates that. I especially appreciate SCAG's work on first mile, last mile, and on the long-range planning that we're doing here for our rail lines, for high-speed rail, for Metrolink, for bike paths. All this stuff fits together, and SCAG really helps LA work effectively with Orange and Riverside and San Bernardino and Ventura and Imperial.
The work that is being done here at SCAG is so important from a regional approach. Us as elected officials, we have to get out of our own silos, that we just can't think, this is what I want for my city and that is it. We have to think as a region, and this is something that has been instilled in me through SCAG.
I think under Greg's leadership, we've done a marvelous job of outreach to the far reaches of our region here at SCAG. You know, 6 very diverse counties, a lot of geography that separates us. We've traveled to my region, to the Mexico-U.S. border down in Imperial County. We've been out to Blythe, to Needles, to Barstow, and then there was a tour just recently of the Long Beach port.
SCAG brings the elected leadership of its 190 plus cities and counties to the table with business so that we can understand each other's issues. That public-private partnership is essential to having a business-friendly region, and SCAG's right at the center of that conversation. For many years, our Southern California Leadership Council that started at the LAUDC and involves 4 former governors and business leaders from throughout the entire SCAG region has partnered with SCAG. It works in partnership on the SCAG Economic Summit.
The Economic Summit was just illuminating in actually hearing that even today, in 2014, 1 out of every 4 children are living in poverty here in Southern California. That's huge. We have unemployment in Imperial County, in the southernmost part of our region, just about to hit 30%. And this is in a recovery. We have significant problems, and SCAG is in a great position to continue the dialogue, to find solutions. Our Economic Summit was the first step of that, and I know that incoming President Morehouse is going to continue that dialogue.
Our mayor, or my mayor, has been really clear about the linkages between workforce and education and economic development, which is why we have organized ourselves the way we have. And so when the invitation came in to speak at the summit, and that the fact that the summit was addressing the linkages and the regional roles that we can all play in moving this sort of agenda forward, I thought it was just a natural for our office to be there and to share what our thoughts were about how important it was. We started early in the year in reaching out to our partners in labor. SCAG has had a long history of involvement with the business community. In my year, we wanted to reach out to workers, especially in the building trades, to make sure that they had a seat at the table. We've been able to have meetings and summits in Orange County, Los Angeles County, and Riverside, San Bernardino counties. Out of that really came the focus on workforce development. What were we doing here in Southern California for education, trying to find jobs for people?
We work together with our business partners to lobby for extending the tax credit for the movie industry, because the movie industry is important when it comes to jobs in this region.
The California Film and Television Tax Credit Program has enormous benefits for our region as well as the entire state of California. For every $1 of tax credit invested by California, state and local governments get $1.11 back. It's a very significant program.
Under Pam O'Connor's leadership is when the RTP-SCS was first approved. My year really has been more in getting ready for the implementation, setting the table for the next reiteration of that.
This plan is by all means a great document, but it is a plan, and it only worth something if it gets to be implemented. We started the process by saying to our cities, here are a few $1 million, $10.4 million to be exact, available to you to start the implementation of the Regional Transportation Plan Sustainable Community Strategy.
Getting the money down to those entities, those communities who don't have the finances, but they have projects that they want to do, this gives them the opportunity to utilize that money to help take them to the next step. I hear that from several other communities throughout the region, how that is helping them plan for stuff, whether it's bike paths and more active transportation modes, pedestrian, whatever it is. The local level is where this money has to filter down to, and that's really SCAG's role. Is we got the big picture to get this thing cohesively together and let the smaller communities implement it. Sustainability award grants have been great for that.
We're delighted that SCAG has been a partner with us in our sustainability master plan almost from day one. Our programs, whether it's electrical vehicle charging stations, other air quality issues, transportation issues, SCAG has been a huge partner and a financial partner in the CV Link. We're going to get people out of cars, on trails, and improve air quality. So SCAG has awarded us many, many grants, which the City of Palm Springs is grateful for.
Leadership matters. The leadership that Hassan Akrada has shown, the leadership that Greg Pettis and Glenn Becerra and others have shown is important in bringing us all together to challenge these complex issues that are bigger than any one city or any one county.
Greg, you are SCAG's president right now. I'm delighted and honored to know you. You've done so much for Palm Springs, Cathedral City, and the Coachella Valley. We thank you.
When people say I want to be a president of SCAG, they don't realize how much work it is. And Greg, I personally appreciate your access, your willingness to be there representing the agency. This has been a great year, and to a big part it is to your efforts and your willingness to put the time for it. So thank you, Greg.
I also respect Greg really trying to uplift younger folks like myself within the organization to have opportunities of leadership.
Greg is one of the most kind-hearted, gentle people I've ever met, and I think that he has a sincere, caring spirit for this entire region.
One of the highlights of my year is actually in the selection of the next slate of officers. We're going to have a great leader in Carl Morehouse. And then the next 2 years, two extraordinary women, Cheryl Villegas Walker out of El Centro, and then Michelle Martinez, where we're actually going to be turning in our 51st year, turning over to the next generation of leaders, the first 30-something president of SCAG. That's very gratifying, and I'm leaving on a good note with some excellent leadership coming forward.